Hello, everybody. Welcome to Optimism Fractal. We're here for our 33rd meeting, and I have the pleasure to be here with Abraham and Rosmari and Noah. Thanks so much for joining. Noah, we were just juggling together and had a great time, actually, talking public goods as well. Pleasure to be here with Gene and Will, and welcome to Jacob and Pascal, too. A bunch of awesome people. So really excited for the event today. Thanks, everybody, for joining, and thanks for watching. I'm going to share a little presentation with an introduction to Optimism Fractal and also a little bit of what's on the agenda for today. So if any of you feels like saying hello or anything real quick, then feel free. Otherwise, I'll get into the presentation. Okay, so Optimism Fractal is a community dedicated to fostering collaboration, awarding public goods creators, and optimizing governance on Superchain. You can check it out at optimismfractal.com. It's a great place to get started, and we have kind of a guide of things that you can get involved with. So you can join events. We host events every week at 17 UTC where you can network and make friends and collaborate with talented builders in Superchain. And also you can earn respect because we have an innovative social game, an on-chain social game called the Respect Game, where each person shares what they've done to help optimism after we go into breakout groups. We collaborate to rank each other's contributions, and then everybody who reaches consensus earns a soulbound token called Respect. So you can learn more about all this. You can also watch videos too and participate in the videos by joining the events, and also start building with the tools and use the tools to help out your community organization as well for the Respect Game. So we have links to all these places. It's a great place to develop your on-chain career and business. We have a Notion site where you can get more involved with the Optimism Fractal and the Superchain. And there's also opportunities for funding and all sorts of stuff that goes on here too, which you can see we have a video about, and more details with Optimism Retro funding as well. A great opportunity for public goods creators. We're also trailblazing the future of governance. We have great history article you can learn more about, and everybody can join the Optimism Fractal Sages Council if they've earned respect to help lead the community. And we host the Town Hall at the end of the Respect Game in an hour at 18 UTC every Thursday. Nurtured by Eden Fractal, another community that's been pioneering these processes where you can learn more about this, and also Optimistics. Founded it a while ago, and we're working with all of the chains and networks and communities in the Superchain. So Optimism, Base, Azure, etc. And you can learn more about all these at the website, optimism.io, base.org, and so forth. So that's kind of a little introductory preview for anybody who doesn't know about it. So I just figured give that preview. And then I'm trying to scroll down lou.ma/optimismfractal, where you can register. Everybody's welcome to join and invite your friends Thursdays at 17 UTC. And today we're going to be talking about helping the Superchain after the Respect Game. So we're going to be playing the Respect Game and going into breakout groups. And then we're going to be discussing the top topic that was voted for the town hall, which is helping the Superchain, which we'll get into in a little bit, but just a little preview. Everybody's welcome to join the Discord and also the Farcaster or Warpcast channel and post there. You can see Rosmari putting out some great messages here, and you can check out all the videos at optimismfractal.com/videos. Where you can learn more about all the cool stuff we've been up to, like on-chain summer and Superchain leaders and Optimism Season 6 and so forth. We had a really great episode last week where we talked about all the cool things going on, opportunities in Optimism in this season. You can check out the videos on YouTube as well. And Rosmari puts up updates on the governance forum too for every event that we've had since Season 3. And so you can learn more about that and scroll through to see what we've been up to this week or this year, or this season, I should say. A couple I tried adding like a community news section. So real quick, I'm just going to share one shout out to Abraham. He worked a lot on a Respect Game app this week, and we submitted an application Onchain Summer Buildathon, which was inspired during our episode that we had a couple weeks ago. So people can check out the app in development over here. And big thanks to Abraham for all the great work. And Tadas, in case anyone missed it, Tadas also shared an update about the FRAPPS software package that he's building as well in the Discord too. So lots of stuff coming up. And then I also made an announcement too. I mentioned Eden Fractal, another community that's been pioneering these processes for a while. I made a proposal for Eden Fractal Epoch 2. So it's kind of ending the first epoch. So I won't get into much here, but just want to let you know that the last event of the first epoch for Eden Fractal, the 105th event, will happen next week. And then there'll be proposing to build on base and start playing Respect games for fractal consensus process and stuff. There's an article you can learn more about that. So everybody's welcome to join these events. If you want to join the Eden Fractal event, that's on the calendar for Optimistics over here, as well as the Optimism Fractal and Town Hall events. And I also made an Optimism office hours, or just like an office hours event, basically. Everybody's welcome to join too. So here's the Town Hall for anybody who wants to stick around at 18 UTC. We'll be discussing optimism and specifically how to help the superchain, and we decided that with the Cagendas game where we vote with respect on topics. You can see the topics that were posed on the snapshot space, and thanks to Will for voting, and thanks for everybody for voting and sharing the word as well. So I think that's the end of my presentation here. I just wanted to also share the office hours too. I tried this out thanks to Gene and Abraham and Will for sharing ideas about having another space for discussion. So for anybody who does want to stick around afterwards, I'm planning to host this office hours as well after the town hall. As kind of just a place for more casual discussions and offline discussions, or like not published discussions. So for anybody who wants to stick around, we can also have more discussions after as well. So that is that. What we're gonna do now is we're gonna play the respect game. You can see optimistics.io for an overview of how the respect game works. And then where was I? Okay. I'm sorry, I'm getting so confused at the end of my presentation here. Okay, so the the instructions for the respect game are optimismfractal.com/welcome, and you can see over here how it works. Basically, each person's going to get 4 minutes to share what they've been doing to help optimism. We're going to go into breakout rooms, and then we're going to play the respect game, as I think everybody knows. And if you don't know, then we'll share how it works with you. And when we go in, feel free to reach out with any questions to anybody else. If you want to record your breakout room too, then let me know. And we're starting to publish more of the breakout rooms and trying to help promote public goods creators more. And you can also feel free to share your screen too if you want to pull up any windows to show other participants or viewers about what you're up to. And feel free to share any links to your work in the Optimism Fractal Discord or Zoom chat as well. All right. So thanks all for listening to my presentation, and I hope you have a wonderful time in the breakout rooms. And I suppose that we will head into the respect game now. Thanks so hard, Will. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, and also, I saw Noah just joined too. So if you wanted to juggle it before the respect game too, we were having some fun juggling. But the respect games are now, or the breakout rooms are now open. So you're welcome to join and have fun. Hey.
Are you cooking?
It looks like
I'm currently cooking my breakfast. I apologize. I wanted to join and I wanted to eat, and I hope you're not bothered that I'm trying to do both.
No, it's fine.
Yeah,
it's
no problem.
That's multitasking.
Yes. I hope that you're cooking up something nice, and appreciate you joining us as well. I also appreciate you joining Pascal too. Great to see you.
Good to see you there.
Yeah, absolutely. For anyone who's watching, I've collaborated a lot with Pascal. Pascal has founded a Fractal and does great stuff. So really cool to see Fractal leader, and also knows it was really cool looking at your Twitter profile, as I was saying before we started recording too. So really appreciate it, and I'm looking forward to getting to the respect game. So if anyone wants to kick us off at all, and well, first off, I guess Noah, if you had any questions about how it works, then feel free to ask, or otherwise, if anybody wanted to go first and share what they've been doing to help optimism, then the floor is open. And also just feel free to introduce yourself too. Perhaps Noah, if you'd like to introduce yourself, or Pascal, if you'd like to introduce yourself for the audience, then very welcome to do so as well.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. Hi, Dan, and good to see you today. My name is Pascal. I'm a Fractal alumni. I've been in the Fractal space for since we started Eden. And I'm happy to be here today, seeing what Dan has been building with Optimism Fractal. I personally, I'm leading the Wax Fractal on Wax blockchain, which is an USIO blockchain. I'm also contributing to the Upscale blockchain, Fractal, sorry. But my main participation in Fractals is to see how we can learn to work together to achieve something. So Optimism is a very powerful blockchain compared to the EOSIO ecosystem. The onboarding is easy, so it gives us opportunities to easily get people to join. And with the super chain or everything going around Optimism ecosystem, it's the first time that I see Fractals being deployed on other chains other than EOSIO chain, which is a good thing to do. So I congratulate Dan for the initiative. So what I've been doing this week, is exploring what we can build together as a community using the Fractal app. And I'm a proponent of a Luki token for the community. If we come together to work as a community, as a DAO, we need to have our own resources, our own tokens, because coming to a meeting is time consuming. So I always push for any community, any Fractal community, to have its own token, its own way of recognizing contribution of its members. So this week I was looking around, or in the Superchain ecosystem, all the projects that are there and how we can benefit from those projects with our own community. So it's I haven't found any community that they meet every week, that, as we are doing as Fractals, and share our contribution to the community. This has a lot of value, a lot. So that value has to be community members. We need to measure it with a token, with the respect that we give, and then have everybody like have a sense of evaluating his own contribution to a community. So that's my my contribution this way. Research, it's mostly research work. And then as time goes, I'll be sharing with the community what we could do together. Thanks. I will pass the baton to Abraham.
Thank you, Pascal. I'm going to share my screen here. Let's see here. Okay, here we go. And share this screen. Nice. Okay. So I've been working hard on trying to stand up an application that does essentially what we're using Telegram for right now, where you go through various sessions and you get to vote on some sort of topic. I'm trying to make it generic enough that it can be used for any kind of a governance application where people are trying to rank specific options. So I created a deployment, I created a website, and then now I'm trying to get the interesting part, which is actually multi-person interaction set up. And it's a little bit complex, but I think if we're careful about it, we can do it pretty well. So this is the code base, and then the actual application is here. I just created it with this basic admin site thing. So I've kind of been going through trying to make sure that I don't leave any big giant security holes in it, like IDs in the front end or anything like that. So that's part of what I'm doing now, just because this thing's deployed publicly. I don't want to like make any problems for for our deployment. But when you go in here, basically you would start a session, and the only person that can start a session is going to be an admin. So someone who, like Dan or Rosmari or whoever's approved, would be able to start a session. And then you can see each person, and then it'll go down through the levels just like we do normally. And then, as you click on somebody, right now, this is just a one-person login thing. So I'm designing the database connection and interaction where, if say Pascal votes for Mad Hatter, it would show here, it would show, I guess it was 4 of us, so it would be 25% here. And then if I had voted for a White Rabbit, it would be 25% here, or however those, however the percentages actually shake out. So I'm building in the, the interaction for that, the database tables, which is pretty crazy, but trying to figure out the best way to do it. There's a couple different ways. Certainly you can use a platform like Ably, which is just like publish and subscribe. And, a lot of these things are great, and you can start with them, but then you're going to get charged a lot later on if you get bigger. And also I'm a little concerned about just like a security. So I think that having just an internal database might be the easiest way to get started. So I'm kind of leaning towards that direction. And I've created a whole bunch of database tables that will facilitate the voting, and I'm trying to get that all set up in Next.js. And so that's been pretty fun. It's a cool conceptual challenge. So yeah, probably in the works for a week, maybe a couple of weeks to try and get some major progress there. But at that point, we should be able to sort of require a wallet connection. So someone should be able to come in, connect their wallet, and then they would be asked to create a username or account if they don't have one, and then they would have their own unique ability to vote with their connected wallet address. And then, they would at the end of that process, they'd be able to kind of push all of the results. The admin could push results on chain. So the results of the different levels of voting would all be kind of condensed down into one object, and then it'd be sent off to the blockchain for storage, and everyone could approve it. And so you'll see how that process works as we go through it. But so basically, just kind of formalizing it, and then allowing us the ability later on to do more than Telegram does out of the box. It'd be kind of nice to be able to customize it in certain ways, and possibly make it easier for people to collaborate and make decisions. So yeah, lots of exciting stuff there, and I'm looking forward to getting a working prototype in place. So that's what I got.
That's awesome. I guess I'll introduce as my first time joining for a Fractal call, and very grateful for the warm welcome. It's nice to see what you're working on. And yeah, I work in public goods funding space where we're doing a prize platform. It's like an idea marketplace combining freelancing and crowdfunding. And the way it works is someone adds an idea, people crowdfund the idea, and then the idea with the crowdfunded amount is now a prize that anyone can see and work on and build to collect the reward. So it's retroactive or results based, but it's not open-ended where you don't know whether or not you're going to get it or how much you're going to get. It's a set amount where you know how many people want it, how much demand there is, and what you would win if you build this particular thing. So as these ideas are crowdfunded, you can see which ones have more demand. It's a much more open process to welcome in people to build it. That solves an issue, for example, in Kickstarter, where they lost $700 million in 2023 from people fully funding projects that never actually delivered what was promised. And we're expecting a grant from Optimism, though it has a 1-year lockup. So trying to message them and be like, is it all right if we work with Base? And I think the answer is yes, but I'm trying to double check on that as it's still part of the Superchain. Because we just submitted to Base Onchain Summer, where we have a massive update we're really excited about, where we're putting credit card payments on chain, where someone who's never used crypto before can just send money in with credit card. Will actually go from a wallet associated with them that they control just by logging in with their email, and then it sends crypto into the smart contract for them. So really excited about that, to actually have this on-chain history and allow people to come in and participate in things with credit card. And yeah, that's what we've been doing, is submitting to the Base Onchain Summer recently, and looking at what you guys are building. I'm really intrigued for people who are contributing, if there's many team members who come together to work on a prize, for example, to allocate how do you win the prize. We're planning by default is just whoever joins the team, they have a wallet that the money's being sent to for the team, and however they decided, they just input it when they're making the team. That's a wallet that gets reward. But some sort of mechanism like this could be really interesting, where people choosing and saying about the others who should get more contributions.
Hopefully there's an easy consensus.
Yeah. Have you guys looked into doing pairwise as well, for instead of like ranking a whole list of contributions, but then pairwise ranking?
I have looked into Pairwise and tried it out. It's a very cool tool, and I watched some videos about it too. And it's kind of a different game for anybody who's not familiar with Pairwise. It's kind of like the way it works is like you get 2 options, and then you pick between which option you like more, and then you can do that over and over and over again. And then by choosing yes or no and like distilling it to that easy preference many times, then you can get a better idea, rather than having to choose between 50 projects or 100 projects or 100 people or whatever it may be. Just a bunch of yes or like A or B decisions basically can help distill the preferences. So I think it's really interesting. And at some point I meant to like try it out and try like collaborating with it in some way. It's kind of a different game than the Respect game too. In the Respect game is more so like ranking 1 through 6. And we've been doing this for a few years. So there's lots of little differences here and there, but I'm very interested in trying out Pairwise and collaborating. I think that the whole field of these consensus mechanisms and games, I really like Pairwise's like playful approach to it as well. I think it's really powerful for helping people to make decisions better, allocate value, and so forth. And all the stuff you shared there, Noah, sounds fascinating. I looked into it on Twitter, as I was saying, and yeah, it seems like a really cool project. And then there's been a couple people who have mentioned in Optimism Fractal about doing a similar thing, like a quest kind of format, like where a community will drive a specific project and they host Respect games to determine who gets more funding out of that. So I think that could work really great with what you're building as well.
Awesome. Yeah, who in your team has been interested in that, or just kind of like a general conversation with multiple people?
Yeah, so it was first brought up by Hadlan, who's one of the original. He was like the 4th person who joined. He's joined a bunch of events, and then in our Discord, I can share some links with you. He brought it up, I think, and then Pit Beckers is a developer. He had some comments about it, and Tadas, who's one of the developers who started Optimism Fractal, had some comments. And I think we have a Notion project related to this kind of like development for like kind of project-based Respect game distribution or allocation. So I can follow up with you about links and see if I have that project, and then also share the link with the Discord post where you can read into it as well.
Sounds great.
Okay, well, excellent. I'm looking forward to collaborating with you. And yeah, if anybody wanted to share any links to what you're doing, then feel free to share. I can also share a link. I don't know if you have the Discord note, but if you want to share a link to any of your work there so we can all dive deeper into it, then you're very welcome to. And I can pull up the link and share in the chat right now. And of course, Abraham or Pascal, if you wanted to share any links too. It was wonderful hearing from everybody. So really appreciate it, and happy to help support. Happy to help support all the great things you guys are doing.
Yeah, maybe I can share the Upscale Fractal link, the app that been developed. It's a more advanced. It's not on Optimism, just to get you informed, Noah. It's on EOS. So everything is automated. It's the same process, but everything is automated from starting of the meeting to the end. It's 1 hour, and then after 1 hour, the meeting just shut up if we don't reach consensus. So we are forced to work together, forced to reach consensus. And then there is a token, a mechanism for distribution. So it's most advanced, but it's still in the testing phase in terms of all the videos also recorded. And everything is on chain. Everything is on chain. So maybe if you want to look at the smart contracts, yeah.
Okay, so it's a way to run elections, and also, who is it? Just more about the platform you're developing, or is this really important for a particular election in the Fractal community?
It's specific to the community. Like the experience we had before, it's like we needed a mission. Like when we meet together, what people are doing in terms of contribution? How do we measure contributions? Which is very hard. So we need to come up with a mission. You know, are we working for EOS? Are we working for this specific project and evaluating? So the community came to say, okay, the contribution has to go towards upscale community. It could be, okay, I invited someone, I brought the liquidity, I bought some Respect, which is the community, or I build a software for the community, or something that is really bringing value to the community, you know, not to the underlying blockchain. So it's kind of experimental because the token is being distributed since 2 weeks ago. And then we have like 3 months to see how it goes. But the mission, but based on my own experience, the mission is the key part in any fractal community. I can also share Wax, which is also a fractal, but the mission is supporting a blockchain, which is Wax. And then the blockchain is the NFTs. So somebody who create an NFT for the community, share something about NFT, maybe he may gain some more respect.
What does the fraction mean?
You say the fractrin?
It's a DAO.
Did you say the fractrin, Noah?
The fraction, for example, Cameron James is 1.42/17.
Okay. Okay. That's the number of the time that he has already attended a meeting. Like, we need to, it's now I don't want to take all the time in this fractal, in this optimism fractal. It's based on a book that Dan Larimer, the original creator of the fractal governance, he came up with through democracy. So you have to measure in 3 months, on average, how many, the percentage of participation, you know. So that 1.5 is, he attended, let's say in 12 weeks, he attended 1.5 times the meeting, the meeting. So that's how he get the power to vote, because we also select leaders. It's not only distribution of the token, but it's also select the leaders, the council. As we grow, as more people join, you need to find a way to have who are the leaders of this community. So it's it has a role there. So that 1.5, it's his power in that community. So some are 7, some are 12, some are 2. So the quick response is power in the community. That's the quick response.
Yeah, thanks for sharing, Pascal, and thanks for sharing, Noah, and ask more about it. I can share a bit more details about it too, although we also probably should make sure to reach consensus pretty quickly so we're timely as well. Noah, was there anything else you wanted to add while you were sharing before you pass it on?
No, that's good. What are we doing now?
Now I will go and I'll share what I've been up to help Optimism for a few minutes, and then I'll share the link to Telegram, a Telegram web client, web app chat. As Abraham was building, he's building it so you don't need Telegram to do the voting, and all in one web app. And there's also really great sign-in features too there. So at some point, I think we'll switch over to that. But right now we have a nice little Telegram web client where we can rank who helped the most, who helped the second most, who helped the third most. And then based on that, we'll each earn respect if we can reach consensus. And whoever gets the higher level, each higher level gets about 60% more respect than the previous level. So we'll play the game, but first I'll go and share what I've been up to as well. So thanks everybody so much for the amazing contributions. Really exciting. I'll also share too, just I think you guys would appreciate it, and it might just be helpful for anybody who's watching just to better understand it. I'll just maybe pull up a screen showing FRAPPS and Upscale Fractal briefly too, just so people can get a visual thing, and share that for like maybe just like 15 seconds or something like that before getting to mine, just so everybody can see and help promote everybody. I saw Noah had shared x.com/FRAPPS is where you can learn about what he's working on, and Pascal had shared Upscale Fractal at fractal.upscalenow.io. So FRAPPS allows anyone to create a crowdfunding prize to incentivize the creation of public goods, FRAPPS.org, and they have a nice like introductory tweet here where you can learn more about it too. So thanks, Noah, so much for sharing it, and looking forward to digging into this deeper. I recommend people check it out. Also, I just want to share Noah's profile. It's like really awesome. I was like, wow, this is so cool. He's got like his career, he's a professional juggler and doing all sorts of stuff. So I recommend people following and supporting all the cool stuff that Noah's doing, and supporting everybody here, in addition to public goods, creating all sorts of cool stuff. So thanks so much. This is the Upscale Fractal app that Pascal is building. But by the way, Tadas is building a fairly similar app with some differences on EVM, which we're really excited about as well. And then, yeah, I've been collaborating with a lot of people in this community, and lots of really cool stuff going on, as Pascal was sharing in this space. So you can go around, click up here to check it out. And I don't know if I should share the screen where like, I suppose I can, but this is a screen where you could see like their ratings and stuff that they're talking about, how much respect they've earned. And then just one other thing, following up on Pascal's comment about like the history of it too, we have an article at optimistic.io/blog/fractal history, where we have like more details about what Pascal was talking about with the history of how this came with molecular animals and all the cool stuff that's been happening over the years with fractals. So, but anyway, yeah, now I'll share my contributions. And so for one thing, I submitted 2 applications in the Onchain Summer Buildathon. So one was with Abraham, and Abraham did all the work on the development here, but I coordinated a lot with Abraham behind the scenes, as well as with Tadas, who is providing feedback, who, as I mentioned, he's building a lot of the infrastructure for Fractal apps on the EPM with the FRAPPS. I created these pictures a while ago, and so I included some nice pictures about a respect game app, a really simple and fun app. For whatever reason, it's not loading when I do that. Yeah, where people can contribute and connect and collaborate to achieve shared goals. And so trying to share this vision of how it can work playing this kind of app. And then I also just put together some writing. I have an idea too where people can give their own personal respect to, which I've thought about a lot. And I just wrote up some overview about why it's helpful and what problems it solves here. And then I also just coordinate with them to explain the technical improvements that Abraham made and so forth. So put together that application, and then I also put together an application for. I was up really late when I sent this, so I have a couple of those spelling errors, which is a little embarrassing. What I build this month, so it's not a very there's a couple. I worked hard on it, but there's a couple little errors that are a little bit annoying, and I don't want to edit it now. But I basically made my first paragraph post, and then I explained what problems it solves, and then during this paragraph post, I tried to bring together and explain 5 different projects I've been working on over the course of June to help improve collaboration, community building, improve governance processes, increase access to development tools, and help people get on chain, enjoy the benefits of on chain. Talked a little bit about the challenge they ran into and stuff like that as well. And then I made this paragraph post basically where I shared a little introduction. I shared our work with the town hall is kind of aimed more to the base community too, to some extent, because it's hosted by base. So I worked with Rosmari to produce an episode for town hall where we just produced a video just for the town hall episode where we had an introduction about it. And then I wrote a little introduction about what I did over the past month. And then I also wrote a bit about Optimism Fractal too, and include all the videos that we did for Optimism Fractal this month. And then I talked about the Eden Fractal anniversary that I hosted. That was really cool, and how I'm giving out NFTs on base for participants and working to inspire the Eden Fractal community to start building more on base. Just came out with a proposal for that too. And then I talked about the respect game app that I just mentioned there. And I also started collaborating with Rosmari. We tried making a new show called Base Play. We didn't get it out in time, but we made a nice image and we have some cool stuff. We've done some other information there too. So kind of giving an overview of how these all can work together and inviting everybody to join and learn more. Everybody can collect this on chain now and subscribe. Paragraphs is a great platform. And people can learn more about that. Also, I was pretty active in the Optimism Fractal Discord chat too. So Gene was inspired and shared some really great comments after last Optimism Fractal meeting, and he was interested in meeting more and discussing things. So there's also some interesting stuff that Zal was doing with the code. But then I responded with Gene and said that I'd love to have a discussion, invited people to discuss this during Eden Fractal, and just kind of gave a nice response basically to try to help out and just provide a supporting space and get to know Gene, get to know everybody else more, and then provide a little bit of detail about how more people are interested in talking about this kind of stuff and having more meetings. Recommended Jason's event, who's come to Optimism Fractal many times before, as another place we could talk about this. And then I responded to Abraham and Will about the Optimism missions for season 6. I did a lot of research into this. Actually, this is one of the main things I worked on this week, about making a mission to raise funding so that Optimism Fractal participants can help allocate funding and also can earn rewards like OP for joining events. And also to pay for building things for Optimism Fractal, like apps and stuff like that. So answered a question about that, and then also answered a question that Abraham had about what happens if consensus can't be reached due to differing opinions. So we had a bunch of thoughts there. I won't go into details here, but you can see them all here with more details. And then I think that's probably my 4 minutes is about. But last thing I did was, or 2 last things I did real quick was I did the office. I started the office hours event as a result of that to provide a space. So I just created this event so we can discuss things afterwards if we want to. And then, as I said before, I made a pretty big proposal for Eden Fractal Epoch 2 this week, summarizing the progress of Eden Fractal and fostering a lot of collaborations and helping fractals a lot and so forth, but then also proposing some changes in the second epoch, starting a new epoch with new respect games on base, a bi-weekly event schedule, a new consensus process, and much more. And there's a whole big article where I went into more detail about each of these things. And then I hosted an Eden Fractal event talking about these and had a great discussion. So there's much more there. A lot of it's related to Optimism Fractal too. It talks about how one of the things I want to do is focus more on Optimism Fractal. So that's why I'm saying to take a step back a little bit from Eden Fractal, but still focus on it because it could still greatly help with fractal decision-making processes. If anybody's not sure, you can go to edenfractal.com to learn more about that. There's a really great community there. But that's it. And I messaged, I was thinking about messaging Abraham about a development task, but that's it for me. My apologies if I went a bit over 5 minutes. Today I didn't put the timer on. Maybe I should have done so. But if anybody has any questions or comments for anybody, then feel free to share now. And I'm going to get the Telegram app open and ready and invite everybody. So within the next couple of minutes, within the next minute or so, I'll share a link so everybody can join the Telegram group. And if you could have your Optimism address ready so you can paste it in there, and then we can start playing the condensed game whenever we're ready. But for now, if anybody wants to ask any questions or anything like that, then feel free.
What's the difference between Eden Fractal and what we're in right now?
Thanks for the question. So Eden Fractal is a community that is quite a bit older than Optimism Fractal. I started Eden Fractal 2 years ago, like 2 years and a month ago, maybe. We just celebrated our 2-year anniversary a few weeks ago. And Eden Fractal is if you go to edenfractal.com, it explains it well. Eden Fractal has a clearly defined vision and mission. Basically, the mission is to implement these fractal decision-making processes that we're using at Optimism Fractal throughout society. And it's doing so through collaborative research, development, education, gamification, community engagement. And basically, we're trying to create a world where all communities and organizations have the tools and methods to make the best possible decision-making. So, so Optimism Fractal sprouted out of Eden Fractal. If you go to optimismfractal.com, there's also a playlist where you can see back about 8-9 months ago, we were talking about launching Optimism Fractal at Eden Fractal. And basically, it is, as Pascal was saying, these processes have been going on for like several years where we've been refining these with hundreds of builders. And so Eden Fractal has been around for a while where we've been figuring out what the respect game is, how to play it, how to grow it, and so forth. Whereas Optimism Fractal is more so specifically focused on the Optimism Superchain and focus on awarding public goods creators and fostering collaboration and optimizing governance on the Superchain.
Yeah.
But it works in the same way with respect games, although lately we haven't done respect games for Eden Fractal for the past 6 months or so. So one of the proposals is to do that. And instead of having it specifically to help optimism, it'd be what you do to help grow fractals would be kind of like the question that everybody's asking there. And happy to provide any more details about that at some point if you like. But I also realized I just have to log in. My apologies, I was a little bit disorganized, but I just have to log into the Telegram so I can share the link there. So if anybody wants to share any other questions, comments, or anybody, then feel free, and I'll have that Telegram link in a moment.
Oh yeah, one more thing about what I'm doing. The code that is going to allow people to do the voting and kind of propose topics and stuff, it's all going to be open source. So essentially there will be some providers that you have to sign up for. Most likely, I mean, the goal is to make it completely open source. You don't have to pay anything, especially as a small organization. So probably have to create a couple API keys and stuff. But the idea is just that, like, if people, have a group and they have topics that they want to vote on, they should be able to do that without the need to, have to pay a service.
That's great.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. Yeah, thanks so much, Abraham. Really excited for all that you're building.
I noticed in your presentation, you briefly scrolled past the mention of a book that outlines fractal democracy. Do you know which book it was that I saw?
Yes, I believe that was More Equal Animals. That was a book that it was written by Dan Larimer, who is a great innovator who's worked in the Web3 space for a long time. And he wrote a book called More Equal Animals, The Subtle Art of True Democracy. And we can share the link with you there where you can learn more. That's where a lot of this fractal democracy process was inspired by. I just shared, by the way, the link to the Telegram. Thanks, Pascal, for sharing the Fractal web app. So first join the Telegram group that I just shared, and then I'll put out a prompt where everybody can add their Optimism address there. Mm-hmm. And then once we do that and come to consensus, then we'll have a button to return to the Optimism Fractal web app where we can post consensus results on chain.
Have you posted the link, Dan?
Yes.
The prompt.
I have not yet posted the prompt because I don't think that
Okay.
everybody's in yet. But once everybody's in, then I'll post the prompt. Right now we have 3 members. As far as I see, sometimes it bugs out a little bit, but I don't see you in there, Pascal. Are you in there?
Not yet. I'm
Okay.
I'm connected.
Okay, sounds good. I just shared the link with you, or just in the Zoom chat, to that article that has the history of fractals, optimistic.io/blog/fractal history, and also morecoolaanimals.com is where you can find that book. And I also have a link to an audiobook too that I can share if you'd like to listen to it. I find it a lot easier to listen to long books like that. It's very insightful, very helpful. I highly recommend it. And thanks for the interest. No, I really appreciate it. Okay, so I'm putting out the account prompt now. So please make a reply to this message. So if you're on a computer, then right click. If you're on a tablet, a mobile device, then hold click and then add your address there as reply. Okay, everybody's got their addresses in. And now I'm going to put out the level 6 poll. So now Noah, you can just vote for whoever you think helped the most, who helped Optimism the most this past week. And then after that, after we reach consensus on that, then we'll do who helped the second most and third most and so forth.
Pascal, you're DGB Tech?
Yeah.
Right. That's level 6. So I can only vote one person?
Yes.
Yeah.
So
at that level, at level 6. That's the highest contributor. At one level, it's can only vote once. Yeah.
And then after we reach this, then you'll be able to vote for a different person for level 5.
We don't have consensus.
And we do not have consensus. So
Not
we
yet.
need to reach 2/3 consensus, which is in this case, 3 out of 4 people need to agree on somebody in order for us to get respect. And right now, Noah has 1 vote from Abraham. Abraham has 2 votes from me and Pascal, and I have 1 vote from Noah. So would anybody like to share their thoughts or switch their votes or help persuade us either way?
I vote for Abraham to support the effort he's trying to build a user-friendly tool so that we can use for consensus. Last time I attended, I appreciate the work he's been doing to bring to the community a product that we can use. So that's why I voted for him as level 6. So
It feels emotionally tough because all of you guys are doing interesting work supporting this. So yeah, it's a little tough to say like pick a person, but yeah, I'm assuming everyone will get some amount of respect in different cycles.
Yeah, so everybody receives respect. As long as we reach consensus about all 4 ranks and submit it on chain with at least 2/3 of us, then we'll all receive respect. It just the top rank will receive 60% more respect than the second top rank. The rank lower than that will receive 60% more than the next one. So top 1 receives 55 respect, next one receives 34 respect, and so forth. So we'll all receive respect. And then also we do this every week too, so it's like kind of a long game too. So it can be tough, but also
yeah.
but it's all in good fun too, though. So
nice. I mean, I'd recommend switching mine away to being on someone else's. I'm still much newer to this and looking forward to contributing more in the future. But I can tell you guys have more history of what you've done for sure.
Okay, well, that's kind of you. We don't have it, so yeah. If anybody wants to switch, by the way, you can. Noah, by the way, if you wanted to retract your vote, then you could right click or hold down it and click retract vote and change it. I'll also say that I voted for A-Rank because I think that the app he's building is like much needed. And it's gonna be super helpful for Optimism, and so I really appreciate that. I was also thinking of voting for Noah too, because I think what he's doing is excellent, and I really appreciate him joining. I'm really excited to learn more about VPrize. I could also vote for Pascal because his interest and his research is like really, really helpful and really important because he's a great leader. But that was my thinking. So I'm happy to stick with Abraham if anybody wants to switch to Abraham, or if anybody wants to switch around to anyone else, then feel free as well.
I can switch to Abraham, just as long as I'm able to also like give respect to other people afterwards. Sounds like we're ranking everyone, voting for everyone to in next cycles. I don't see a way to retract vote. Do I click on view results and then do something?
No, if you're, I think you're on mobile.
Right.
So if you're on mobile, then you should just be able to hold down that just anywhere in that message, basically, where it says who should be ranked level 6. And then when you hold down, then a little pop-up will come up that says retract vote.
It's not coming up for me, unfortunately. Oh, okay. I didn't have to hold it down. I had to tap it once. Now I retract vote, and then
okay.
it worked. Okay.
Okay, cool. Well, you got it. And
Yeah,
so
that's
Abraham got
fantastic.
level 6. And yeah, now, so we're all going to be ranking each other and everybody's going to receive respect for each consensus. And now what we do is we determine who should be ranked as level 5. So who up the second most. So now we vote again, but Abraham's not in the running anymore because he already got level 6. And now you pick between Noah, Dan, and myself. And it looks like Noah has consensus. Everybody other than Noah voted for Noah. So Noah, you got level 5.
I didn't know there was a level 5, but whoopee!
Well,
That's good. That's good.
thank you very much. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate what you're doing. And now we can rank level 4 between Pascal and myself. Okay, and it looks like I got level 4. I voted for Pascal. I really appreciate it, but everybody else voted for me, so I'll accept that. And thanks so much, Pascal, for joining. I can't express how much I appreciate whatever he's doing here. So great respect game. I'm going to put up the prompt for consensus.
Yeah.
The consensus results. I could also advocate for Pascal here too, because Pascal's new and he's not Optimism Fractal, and his presence here is really important and really valuable. So if anybody does want to switch their vote to Pascal, I'm happy to not accept that and take the level 3 instead. And I would encourage you to do so because Pascal is really awesome. I appreciate the respect for myself, but
Dan, you have my respect today. You have my respect for the initiative because I'm happy to see Fractal on Optimism on another chain. So you have the respect, Dan. So thank you. It's for you.
Okay.
Yeah, what you showed
Thank you
me
very
looked
much.
really interesting. I didn't understand if this is something that you support on kind of the community side, or if this is also like a voting app that you are building yourself.
I'm not exactly sure what you mean by so this is a voting app. And this is called Fractogram, where we're voting in Telegram, and this is something that Tadas had built. But
Pascal, you were showing me the thing that was on EOS where you were voting people into a council, and the next election was on July 11th, and it had the fraction.
Yeah,
for that
I'm a member
one.
there. Yeah, I'm a member there. Yeah, so I contribute. The works, I'm the lead. So it's all the experiments, but on EOS is all of the Fractal contract have been built on EOS originally. So seeing it on another chain like Optimism is what I'm experiencing now. So
got it.
Yeah.
Okay. So for that platform, the one that's currently on EOS, were you kind of like product manager or on the community side, or were you the developer?
On the community side.
Community side.
Community building. Yeah.
Okay.
The developer is Vlad, yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
I just put out the poll for the result. So I think everybody knows except for Noah. So at the bottom, Noah, it says results can be submitted here. And you can double check to make sure that that order is right. Abraham, Noah, myself, and Pascal. And then if you click where it says here, that hypertext link, then it'll open up a link to optimismfractal.web/app, where those results of each person's Optimism address will be ranked. You'll see that your address is on the second to top, which is level 5, and Abraham's address on the top. So you can hit submit. You can hit login first there and then submit, and that will submit the rankings on chain. And then afterwards, respect will be distributed to everybody according to those rankings.
Does every single person need to log in and hit submit?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me try and do this on my laptop because MetaMask doesn't want to do this on my phone.
Okay. If for any reason you're really not able to, I appreciate you trying, but not every person needs to do it. The way it currently works is that at least 2/3, or say 3 out of 4 people need to submit it, or else we'd have to make a proposal to our council to say, hey, we didn't get the 3 out of 4 required, so can it be approved anyway? So if you're able to submit it, then that would be much appreciated and very helpful. And that's also something too that Tadas working on that kind of automates that process. But right now, here's the semi-manual process we have for little things like that.
Okay. I'm supposed to check if you see the same character sequence.
Yes, it should be good. I'm seeing 9E0801F1. It pretty much, it's always been good, but that just extra confirmation in case anybody wanted to confirm, make sure nothing incorrect happening.
Transaction submitted, cost about 1 cent.
Very cool. Well, thanks so much. I'm going to submit mine too. We're going to head back into the community room in the next couple of minutes, I think. And I'll see if the other breakout room is ready to meet back there. And we'll have the town hall for anybody who can stick around starting at the top of the hour. This has been a wonderful perspective, as I said before. If anyone wanted to share some closing comments, then feel free. Also know if you want to share any feedback in general on the process too, I'd be happy to hear from you. Or I suppose what could work too is we could just go back to the community room right now so we could meet up with them. Okay, I'll send everybody back to the main session now, and I'll see you back there. Thanks all.
Dan?
Yes, I am.
Yeah,
I have
go ahead.
a whole bunch of stuff that I do. There's a site called ABEBECKER .com. I'll send you the link.
abecker.com.
Abecker. Yeah.
It's great artist.
Which is some of my more fun stuff. Been doing
Pascal, where
for
are you?
a long time.
Hello?
Where are you located?
In Montreal, in Canada.
Nice.
Montreal.
I'm from Buffalo.
Oh, yeah?
So friends would drive up there and they turn 18.
Why not? In Montreal, it's very hot.
You know?
You're gonna meet so many Bitcoiners here.
Really? I didn't know that.
I love. Great community.
Very cool. No, did you have any? Oh, go ahead, Pascal.
You know, if I have just a quick question. The respect we are getting, is it a non-fungible token or a fungible token at this stage?
So the implementation of the token standard is quite unique right now. It's both a fungible and a non-fungible token. So it can be shown in like an OpenSea kind of thing, like an NFT, and OpenSea or Zora, those kinds of NFT interfaces. And it can also be shown in Etherscan or fungible token interfaces. So you can both count it and then see each individual one. With that being said, Tadas just built a new token standard, which is a non-fungible token. It's a ERC 1155 standard, which I think it will also have characteristics of fungibility as well, but not from the very beginning. But that'll be a non-fungible token from the start, adding fungibility later, and it also have really nice features that it can be like a visible NFT. You can see it, you can view it with art and so forth too. So and also make it a lot more compatible than the current setup that we have, which it was due to its uniqueness, it made it a little bit difficult to like be compatible with other services.
Okay. Thanks.
You're welcome. Thanks for asking. I'm curious. I know, Pascal, you already shared some feedback about Optimism Fractal, which I really appreciate your support. And I'm going to make sure that you get more respect next time too, because you deserve a lot of respect, like I said, but I appreciate when we all get it. And yeah, I'm curious if there's anything else you want to share, or Noah, being that your first time, I know you had lots of questions and lots of great stuff. If you wanted to share anything else, or perhaps any feedback about the respect game. What you thought of it? What do you think of the whole experience? Anything we could do to help improve it for you, or anything else on your mind?
What are the processes in place checking that it's not just a single person entering in and setting up the system and like using multiple wallets to put things through? I guess like what's the proof of personhood?
Very good.
Pascal approves this question.
Yeah,
So,
very good question. The experience we had with Eden, the first edition, a user, a participant need to have only one account. And that account will only, it has initially what like his account is also his reputation. So when he's earned tokens, he had 2 tokens. We implemented that in Wax. So there were 2 tokens. One is your reputation, and then one is the Eluki token. You can sell, you can do DeFi. So if you have 2 accounts, it's difficult to keep the same reputation each week. So that's the way the control we have. So now, people have not tried to have 2 accounts. I haven't seen it in the EOS ecosystem, but in Optimism ecosystem, it's possible since the addresses, it's difficult to we don't have username addresses. Okay, maybe in other ecosystem. So it would depend on the implementation that Tadas will want to. I think he's the one to we have to follow that, you know, and then to discuss as a community, how do we protect, how do we protect the community so that people have 2, 3 accounts? Because it's possible. It's nobody will check your account. But if you have reputation embedded in the token standard, we can manage that. We can, because you will not keep the same. Your reputation will not grow if you have 2, 3 accounts. You know? So it's on Upscale, we have that with a number that you see 1.2, 2.3. So if the community grow, it's built a way that you need a council. You know, so as we elect the top 6, let's say Abraham is the top 6. So if we are 12, maybe 18, you have 3 top 6. And then those 3 top 6 level become the member of the council. So they are the one making the main decision for the community. But now, I don't know how Tadas is implementing Optimism Fractal. So that's the kind of thing that we need to, because we can easily grow. I see Optimism Fractal as something that is easy to grow because with the super chain and everything is easy to grow. So we need to think of kind of things now, you know, now. So it's a discussion to have. Well, good question. Very good question.
And also, do you have a Twitter or LinkedIn?
Do you mean for Pascal in particular, or for Optimism Fractal in general?
Yeah, for Pascal.
Yeah, thanks. Okay, it's DGB Tech.
DGB Tech.
DGB. Yeah. Thanks for sharing. Thanks. No, I really appreciate your curiosity, and Pascal sharing all the wisdom. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back, Will and Jacob and Rosmari. Hope you had a wonderful time in your breakout rooms, and great to see you. And we are a couple minutes past up the hour. So if anybody did need to drop off and had any sort of thing going on and you can't stick around for that town hall, then it's okay. Feel free to leave any time. But what we're going to do is we're going to go into the town hall segment in a moment or two where we talk about the top upvote topic, which is about helping Superchain. If any of you wanted to real quick share anything before then feel free. I also wanted to just real quick answer one more thing that Noah had asked too. Noah was asking about how do we verify that zero people who are submitting transactions on Optimism and Optimism Fractal. And Pascal gave a great answer. And another big part of that is being here on video and being here on the call too. So with our council process and soon coming the optimistic respect-based executive contract that Tadas is building, that enables people who have joined Optimism Fractal a lot and have earned respect to make decisions. And if people aren't on video or not necessarily not on video, but if people aren't at the events and we see like a bunch of random accounts submitting transactions, then we can use our judgment using our subjective consensus processes to determine that. And like Pascal said, we can add more features as well to increase the sybil resistance for Optimism Fractal. So thanks for asking. Just wanted to put that there if anybody's watching, because I thought that was also helpful. I suppose we can get into the town hall. If any of you wanted to share a quick comment, then feel free. I realized I just have to bring one more thing over to my window. I wasn't totally 100% prepared. Just remembered one other window. So if any of you had anything you wanted to share real quick, then feel free. And we'll start with the town hall in just a minute.
As a side note, probably everybody's heard of Gitcoin Passport, but I imagine we could probably try to integrate something like that if that ever became a problem, where the people would have to have a specific rating based on a collection of other accounts that they've actually validated, so that we can make sure that each of those wallets is active and real.
Agreed. +1 on that.
Yep. Great point. There's also Ethereum attestation service, Coinbase verifications, many different identity primitives that we could interact with here at the town hall, or not the town hall, at the Optimism Fractal event, to verify, make sure real people are joining, especially in the age of AI too. I don't know if you heard about that, but AI is a pretty powerful technology.
You don't say.
Yeah.
I read an article
they're-
today that they've developed an AI so powerful that it can replace humans, but nobody can have access to it. So it's just sitting incubated in a laboratory.
All right. Well, we know what might be coming then, and fractals are on the way to provide sybil resistance and empowering real people.
I love it.
Feel free to share that article if you want, Will, or feel free if anyone wants to share any links. I see some great links going on in the chat. So thanks all for sharing. Thanks all for being here. I suppose I'll get ready and get started with the town hall and introduce everybody to the topic for today and give a little overview of what we do here at Optimism Town Hall. So thanks again, everybody, for being here. Hope you had a wonderful respect game and really enjoyed it. Welcome to Optimism Town Hall. Optimism Town Hall, as I fumble with my screen again. I'm a little bit clicking the wrong buttons here today. Optimism Town Hall is an event that we host every Thursday at 18 UC. Everybody's welcome to join. It's a collaborative space for open discussions, but also structured discussions and impactful discussions about the Optimism Superchain. And we host this right after the Optimism Fractal event, which happens every Thursday at 17 UTC, where we play the respect game, and then everybody can vote with respect on topics. So I'll share a little bit overview. Also, a quick thing I want to announce too is that for anybody who does want to stick around, the town hall is a half hour long, or I guess it'll be another 23 minutes long because we started a bit late. But I'm also hosting an office hours event where we'll have kind of a more informal, not recorded conversation too, if anybody wants to stick around afterwards as well. And once again, thanks to several community members like Abraham and Will and Jean for coming up with that idea. Optimism Town Hall, you can see an article to learn more about it at optimism.io/Optimism Town Hall. We're doing lots of really cool stuff that we've been doing. This is our 9th town hall, I think. And for anybody who wants to join Optimism Fractal events as well, everybody's welcome to join an hour earlier to play the respect game, earn respect, and you can learn more about Optimism Fractal, community dedicated to fostering collaboration, awarding public goods creators, and optimizing governance on Superchain at optimismfractal.com, and join the events and learn more. We've been publishing all the videos for the town hall at the last half hour of the Optimism Fractal events, although actually the second to most recent one we published independently too. So we're working to publish these episodes on their own as well, but everybody can find all the episodes at optimismfractal.com/videos and see we're talking about base, Onchain Summer, and Optimism Season 6. We had a really great conversation, which is related, all these recent episodes are related to the current topic too. So people can check out the previous episodes there, and the topic that has the most upvotes for today is helping the superchain. So Rosmari made some beautiful art about how we're helping a superchain. So I put a top proposal that I'll bring up shortly, and then we'll get into discussion. And just as a quick note, it's an open community forum, so feel free if you have any thoughts or anything like that, feel free to unmute or raise your hand or share anything in the chat. Very curious to hear your thoughts. And we brought a bit of structure where we focus on a topic with respect, but also feel free to share things that are on your mind as well. And the main game that we play, we call it agendas or community agendas, where anybody can propose a topic by creating a poll in the Optimism Town Hall snapshot space, and then vote on topics with respect to their earned the respect game. And then the topic with the most votes on Monday at 17 UTC will be discussed during the event. So agendas, you can learn more at optimistic.io/agendas, really exciting game that has a lot of benefits. And then this is the Optimism Town Hall snapshot space where you can see the topics. As I said, helping the superchain is a top topic. So if you click on that one, you can see that I made a proposal saying that I propose that we focus our discussion around this question: how can Optimism Fractal help the superchain? And I said this might include a conversation about our core intents, which we made a proposal about a few weeks ago, products or services that we offer, or anything else related to how we'll provide value for the superchain and the Optimism Collective. This topic was first suggested by Rosmari, and so I think it'll be a really excellent discussion to help refine our value propositions. So thanks everybody for voting for it too. Lots of interest in this topic, it seems like. And also a little quick recap too. Last week we discussed a pretty similar topic, and we had a really interesting discussion about Optimism Season 6. And I shared a message with Will about this, but we talked quite a bit about what's going on with Optimism Season 6 and retrofunding and stuff like that. So there's lots of related topics there that we might want to dive into. And last week I also shared a Notion project that I've been curating about Optimism Season 6. We also have Notion projects about Base and several other superchain initiatives too. So check out the previous episodes and feel free to reach out with any questions if you have any questions or any thoughts about these topics that might be related to the superchain too. So I think that's the end of my presentation here. As I said, I had to get organized last second. Just one other thing I guess I share too is here in the brainstorming chat. I had written that I've been thinking a lot about the mission request idea since last week's event, and the mission request deadline for anybody who wants to make a mission request in Optimism 6 is July 8th. So that's in 4 days from today's event. And so we had previously talked about maybe making a mission request to help out Optimism Fractal in some way, and I've been thinking about that. And so I said I'd be happy to discuss this idea about making a mission request to support Optimism Fractal in various ways at the town hall if there's interest, and that can fit into this topic of helping the superchain. But also if anybody has any other ideas or suggestions about how to help the superchain best, then feel free to share. And as I said, open community forum and very curious to hear all your thoughts. So floor is open. I see people are sharing some messages here. But yeah, if anybody wants to share anything out loud now about helping the superchain, then feel free to do so. Or if anybody has any questions or anything like that, happy to provide more details about the mission request I'm thinking about making to support Optimism Fractal. I shared in my Respect Game Room that I think there's a great opportunity here to support Optimism Fractal, support people who participate in Optimism Fractal meetings, and generally empower the whole Optimism Fractal community, which can greatly help the superchain and the collective. So I'm happy to provide more details. I think Abraham, you said you look like you're interested in that. Maybe I'll provide a bit of space if anybody has any other comments or anything, but otherwise I can share a bit of that too.
So just like from my perspective as a founder of an organization, but then also participate in other communities, right? One thing that we're exploring with and I shared this in our breakout rooms, Dan, so apologies that you weren't privileged to this information, but I think you saw it on our X account. So we have an upcoming mint on the 16th as a way to kind of grow internally our community as well, but we're expanding our blockchain footprint to include these mints on more of the chains that we have access to through our smart contract deployer service. In terms of that fall into the super chain category, right? Outside of just being an EVM chain, but in the super chain category. So I think as we're expanding our blockchain footprints with these instances or this activity we're generating on chain, just to be cognizant of which chains that we're producing activity on and if they fall into the super chain category or not, and then kind of share that out with the rest of our community or create ways for them to engage as well. So that's just one example that I'll put there of what we're doing at Kingfisher's Media.
Thank you very much for sharing, Will. Yeah, I think Kingfisher's Media is doing really awesome work to support the superchain, help the superchain. And I remember, I don't know if you explained it there or last week, but I think that you're thinking of making mission requests again. I know you had one from previous season 2. So curious to hear about that at some point.
Yeah, so I think where I was caught up in the mission requests and the deadline you're talking about is like for people within the Optimism community to submit ideas about mission requests that will be supported in season 6, not the actual applications to the recipients. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. So the mission request deadline is in July 8th. And what that is basically, it's kind of like creating your own grant program to some extent. You can propose, I think, that the Optimism Collective should fund people who do this. And so, for example, I'm thinking about making a proposal about like attracting developers to the superchain via community events or via on-chain games or something like that. And then people could then apply for that mission request and say, here's the on-chain game I'm building to attract Superchain Builders, or here's the community that I'm starting or hosting or whatever, or doing to attract Superchain Builders. So this people could do that during the following several months that happens, where people can apply for missions. So the due date for mission requests is it would need to be sponsored by one of about 20 people on some councils in Optimism Collective within the next 4 days. And that's where you can make your mission request that people could go to achieve. And then over the next 2 to 3 months, then there'll be an opportunity for people to apply to those mission requests and ask for funding to build things that fit within those missions that were requested and approved. Does that make sense and answer your question?
100%.
Okay, sounds great. Well, thanks for asking. Thanks for sharing. If you or anybody else has anything else in their mind, then feel free to do so. I can also share a bit more details about what I was, what I've been thinking with Optimism Fractal too. Curious, I know Pascal, you're unmuted here, so if you want to share anything, then feel free. Also, it'd be great to hear Jacob if you want to share anything. Jacob's been doing amazing work with roles and reputations, and he has a bounty. He got a mission approved with ATX DAO to build this amazing open source mono repo for front end and for back end features that I think could be really helpful for Optimism Fractal as well as many other communities. So he's got a lot of experience with this Optimism Collective and with this missions program as well. So just appreciate you joining, Jacob. If you want to say hello, then feel free. Or else, if anybody has any comments, then feel free, like I said, but I'm also happy to explain more about the mission request that I'm making to you. And I think that could be really helpful for everybody in the Optimism Fractal community and Optimism Collective as a whole too. A big way to help the Optimism Superchain.
I guess I'll just do a thanks for the shout out, Dan. I guess I'll do just a little shill of the project because it does align with the helping out the Superchain. So yeah, the Reputation and Roles project, right? It's a way to track trust on chain and grant authorities in a decentralized and permissionless way, which is very useful stuff when it comes to, operating organizations and people in a decentralized and permissionless way, really. And on the reputation side of things, right, like being able to, like, let's say that Abraham introduces me to Dan, and aside from Abraham's word, I can look at Dan's wallet and see that he has 20,000 reputation tokens with Optimism Fractal. And so just following that metric, I know that Dan is a really trustworthy person, and I can establish a very strong baseline level of trust with him. So that's kind of the whole idea of the project. In terms of the whole Superchain, the Superchain's the blockchain, it's the collective, it's all of that stuff. And so just, I do think this technology would be super useful all around the entire ecosystem. So I guess that's my little shill pertaining to this week's topic. Anybody has any questions? Otherwise, Dan, would love to hear what you working on and talking about. Thanks.
Sounds great. Thank you so much for sharing your work, Jacob, and really excited to collaborate. And I think it's awesome. So really appreciate it and happy to share my thoughts. But also, if anybody else wants to share how they're helping the Superchain or how they're interested in helping the Superchain or ideas about how Optimism Fractal in general could help the Superchain, then feel free. We have about 12 minutes left for the scheduled Town Hall. We could go a bit longer if we want, but also want to be respectful of time. And then we will be having the office hours if we want to have any offline discussions, so to speak. Not really offline, it's all online, but not on the Town Hall recording and stuff like that. So I can also share, as Jacob was speaking, I was pulling up some links for roles and reputations and for Kingfisher Media, so I could quickly show the audience or anybody who's here a bit more about these projects before I get into
well, I think Dan too. So so like I used to be active in Eden Fractals, and unfortunately, that time of day doesn't work for me anymore because there's been a lot of conflicts with my involvement with Gitcoin presented as a result of that, right? But I do know that one thing that part of the discussion was, and I know that you're very much for this, is how do we package the products that we're making here, like agendas or like the respect game, right? And then position it in such a way that we can spread it out to more communities. I think that's another great way to do it, because I feel like the agendas, like as an example, in Let's Grow DAO Core Sync this week, you know, we had a very robust discussion about, okay, we need to formalize an agenda for these meetings, and I feel that agendas could be helpful in that, right? So just using that as one example. I love the respect game. That's why one of the reasons I show up here every week, besides just sharing what I'm working on. But yeah, so packaging those as products that we can then deploy out to other communities within the Optimism Superchain ecosystem is just another way that we can help support the, you know, the Superchain ecosystem.
Well said. Thanks so much, Will. And yeah, I'd love to help support you with the products that we're building here, like agendas and the respect game. Really appreciate your participation and support, and would love to help provide these products and services that we're building for Let's Grow, for King Vision Media, and for everyone else out there who can better organize their community, make better decisions, and, you know, make better events and better experiences. And the work that Jacob is building can also be really helpful for that as well. And the work that Abraham is building. Shout out to Abraham too. At the beginning of the episode, I gave a shout out for the tools he's building, make it easy to play the respect game. So we have some really cool stuff going on. And great points. If anybody wants to share any comments, then feel free. If not, maybe we only have 10 minutes left, so maybe I'll share a little bit of my thoughts here. Okay, sounds good.
Maybe I can share some from our research. I was trying to figure out in the Superchain ecosystem a chain that will support social activity, like liking, commenting, creating like a social website. And then I came to Cyber. Cyber is it's a kind of cool Superchain, optimism chain, in terms of it's built purposely to build social file application. And then one project that is being built on, it's Link 3. It's kind of Lincoln, but built on Onchain. So a social app that somebody can use on a daily basis or on a weekly basis is something that we'll be looking in the blockchain space, like that people can send each other message, chat, like pick a Web2 app and then bring it on chain. So Cyber as a chain, Optimism chain, has built that infrastructure where you can build any social app. And then I was testing the professional app, the equivalent of Lincoln, based on Cyber chain. So maybe I can share the links that you have a preview of what is. And I find it very cool because if we are building a community, let's say Optimism Fractal, having something that people can contribute towards and then bring back to the community, it's very powerful, you know. So we can deploy our own token there because there's a community of people doing stuff during the week. So it's those are the things that I'm really looking in the Superchain ecosystem. And then Cyber has that in terms of chain, all the feature to build a social app, social finance app. And one of the app that is being built, it's Link 3, which is the equivalent of Lincoln. It's the same in terms of design process. So I'm really looking forward to see how we can leverage on those. And then like build cross-chain social activity. Why, if I earn my fractal, let's say I earn my token on Optimism Fractal, why cannot send it back to Base or send it back to Cyber or send it back to, so those cross-chain wall it's what's really, I'm really interested in building to to make sure that participants, those that attend Fractal meeting like this one, they are contributing just by attending, just by being here. Just by being here is a contribution. So how that contribution can be translated in another chain or another product that can be used. So utility token is what we, yeah.
Fascinating.
Yeah, thanks. Sir.
Yeah, thanks for sharing, Pascal. I hadn't heard about cyber before, and yeah, I suppose I introduced Pascal before the Optimism Fractal. For any of you who just watched the town hall, Pascal does a lot of great work with fractal communities, and I know you're very active on Hive. You made your own kind of Hive-based app called Tiagori. Yeah, and you're really leading in the socialify space. So appreciate that very much. I have some links up so I can show everybody a little preview of these windows and stuff that people have been talking about. Yeah, so I'll look into that. Thanks so much, Pascal, for sharing your thoughts. We have 5-6 minutes left or so, so I could share my thoughts. Also, haven't heard yet from Abraham and Rosmari, but if you feel like just listening, then feel free. But would love. Rosmari did bring up the topic, so if you wanted to share any thoughts, Rosmari, before I go ahead, then feel free to do so. Of course, Rosmari's doing amazing work, as of course she's just yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Thanks. I agree with the what Will said, for example, that by strategizing and helping with coming together with new governance processes and proving that what we've got here works and works for us, then that means that it would probably work good enough for other communities. And as we meet up every week, we can invite other people to join, and we can spread it out more and more and grow that way. So eventually, I think it will be good to think about a way to incentivize and incentivize and come up with a system that rewards or awards perhaps public goods creators in multiple different ways, then respect. And maybe this is another step to go into a good direction of expansion.
Great points. And thank you, Rosmari. Excellent perspective, and thanks again for making the topic too. This has been very inspiring discussion. If there's anything else you want to add, then feel free, as always. Also, I've got to mention too, one of the things that Pascal had mentioned about cyber.co, and specifically about how Optimism Fractal can help, which I think that maybe people who are familiar with fractals quite a bit are familiar with, but maybe other viewers might not be completely sure how cyber.co relates to Optimism Fractal. It's that fractals, like the original creator of what we now call the Respect game, was also the creator of Hive and Steam, which worked under Hive, which was the first decentralized social media network. And in what's called the Fractally white paper, which is first introduced this process, there's a big part about social media. And we talked about this at several episodes actually, but I have a project to collaborate with Farcaster in different ways where people can earn respect by making posts on Farcaster. That's something I want to show you, Pascal. So maybe I'll go ahead and share my screen too shortly, but there's a lot of ways that Optimism Fractal basically can help enhance social media by using the in-person meetings and the root of people getting to know each other and giving respect to each other. And then you can weight like how much a like counts or how much that helps according to how much respect people have. So that can be very helpful in improving social media in a big way, and improving the governance of it, making it more enjoyable, improving the filtering and so forth. So maybe I'll go ahead and share my screen because we only have a couple minutes left. We'll probably go a little bit over because maybe I didn't manage the time so well. If anybody needs to drop off at the top of the half hour, then feel free. I'll try to wrap it up soon. And also at some point soon, we'll wrap up the town hall session and go into the office hours for anybody who wants to stick around. That's scheduled for another half hour. Thanks so much, everybody, for joining and sharing all the great thoughts. It's been a wonderful town hall episode. So I'll share my presentation, kind of wrap it up. If anybody else wanted to share some last thoughts too, then feel free to jump in at any point. And my screen is sharing, but getting frozen on the screen share right now. Let's go, Zoom. Okay, so one thing I want to share about how Optimism Fractal is helping the Superchain is I think this is related quite a bit to our proposal that we recently updated our core intents. So we have 3 core intents. It's dedicated to fostering collaboration, awarding public goods creators, and optimizing governance in the Superchain. So that speaks a bit to what Rosmari was saying. Speaks a little bit to what everybody was saying here, but these are like 3 of the main ways I think if we had to summarize it, that Optimism Fractal is helping the Superchain, and that's all at optimismfractal.com, where people can learn more. I didn't actually provide like a introductory overview to Optimism Fractal or the Superchain here, but I think everybody is familiar. So the way that we host events and the tools that we're building, and the way it can help evaluate public goods creators and the educational content we create, there's so many different ways that we're helping the Superchain. But that's a good way to summarize it, I think, and then we can get into more details too. I'll just show these links too. I don't know, Pascal, if you're familiar with Warpcast and Farcaster, but it's like the fastest growing social media network in Web3, fastest growing decentralized social media network. So I think you'd be really interested in it. There's places where you can post and earn OP all month long in the Onchain Summer channel and the Base Builders channel. You can earn ETH too. We have an Optimism Fractal channel where you can see each post from Rosmari. So that's a great thing that we can integrate with fractals, where people can, who have respect, have like more ability to give more respect and stuff like that, and potentially allocate funding based upon posts. And cyber.co looks really interesting too. So thanks for sharing that. Built with the OP stack, Superchain aligned. I'm looking forward to learning more about this, and also the LinkedIn link 3.2, which is also built with Superchain too. So thanks for sharing that. Shout out to Will and Kingfishers Media. Check it out, kingfishersmedia.io, and on Twitter and Warpcast as well. Lots of great stuff here. And then shout out to Jacob as well. This is what I was planning to share with Abraham, the Roles and Reputation instance. I don't know if this is still available. It looks like it's open for a few days, but this is to integrate. This is like a reward system, or not system. It's like a promotion basically for people who are developers to fork the Roles and Reputation repository and fork it to Optimism. And then I've been doing a lot of research into this. So I have a project actually in the Optimism Fractal Notion site that's called Explore Integrations with Roles and Reputations, where I've done I have a bunch of tasks basically and explain what it is. I think Jacob already gave a good overview, but you can explore here for more details. And then I also have a curated task with a bunch of videos and stuff about exactly what is Roles and Reputations, and Jacob's done a great job of documenting it. So he also shared it previously at Optimism Fractal and shared more overview. So just want to give a shout out and give a visual overview to what everybody's doing here, and what everybody shared rather. And then I also wanted to share briefly about the mission request I'm thinking of making for Optimism Fractal. So I mentioned before that I have some projects for exploring Optimism mission opportunities, and I recently also made a project for creating mission request opportunities. And I mentioned a couple that I'm thinking about, but well, in last week's episode in Engage in Optimism Collective season, in last week's episode, we talked a lot about how people could earn from missions, and we talked a little bit about it. I shared a message with Will about how I was thinking about making proposals where people could earn funding by participating in Optimism Fractal events, and also have the ability to help distribute funding based upon things that we think are valuable and so forth. And so there's more details here that I haven't updated recently, just about mission requests in general for anyone who wants to check out. And the last week's episode had more details about it. And then I have like a private project right now. I'm planning to move into the public one, but so far I've just been organizing my thoughts here about thinking of making like 4 different ones or something like that, maybe 2 different ones. There's a lot more details. I don't think I have time to get into the details about how it all works here, but I had a conversation with some of the top delegates at L2 Beat, and one of the council members, Jay Rocky, that helped me better understand how to make this proposal. And I think there's a good opportunity to make a mission request in the next few days. So I'm going to be aiming to do that. If we can't get it out now, then I think there'll still be a lot of opportunities for good mission opportunities, but I'm thinking of making mission requests to attract developers and to optimize governance with both on-chain games and with community events. And that will provide a way where we can make mission requests to build different tools and get funding for developers or community leaders who are implementing the respect game. For example, similar how Jacob has a reward that he got from OP, from Optimism Mission, for people to deploy the software he's building. We could request a similar mission kind of request where people could get rewarded by hosting respect games and by deploying the software and by improving the software, and also by joining the events too, and earning more funds based upon their respect level. And then also have it where the council and the OREC board, the optimistic respect-based executive contract that Tadas is building, can play a central role in this too. That's like a decentralized, automatically updated contract that can be a protocol that can help distribute funds. So I'm thinking a lot about that. And I know we're 3 minutes over past the top of the hour right now. So maybe we should wrap it up. We could, I suppose, extend the town hall and have the recording on here. If any of you has any other thoughts you want to share, or maybe if any of you has any last thoughts you want to share before we wrap it up, and then we can head into the office hours as planned to have a discussion off recording if we want, if anybody is interested in discussing this topic or anything else related to Optimism Fractal. So thanks everyone for listening to my thoughts there. Curious to hear your thoughts. Thanks all for contributing and helping Superchain. Really exciting stuff. And thanks all for the wonderful town hall and Optimism Fractal event. Does anybody have any last thoughts before we wrap it up? I see Pascal's ready to go. If everybody's ready, we could count down with the... Okay. Thanks so much, Pascal. Really appreciate it. Have a great day.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks.
Good to see you again, Pascal.
Okay. I see Rosmari again. Nice to see you. And does anybody have any last thoughts before we wrap up the town hall?
Let's go.
Good to see you, Will. Thanks so much, Jacob. Thanks so much, Abraham. Thanks so much, everybody, for being here. I suppose we can count down, maybe just say go Superchain, because we're helping the Superchain. One way to help the Superchain is to say go Superchain on 3, 2, 1. Does that sound good? All right.
Yeah.
Sounds great. Well, thanks again, everybody, so much. We'll be here again next week for Optimism Fractal. By the way, I think including this, there's 2 or 3 more events before the end of the season. I'm going to get a proposal for that too. And then we'll probably have a summer break coming up for 2 weeks after that. But yeah, thanks everybody so much for the great event today. Please join us next week at 17 UTC and invite friends and everything like that. And on the count of 3, 2, 1, we'll say go Superchain. 3, 2, 1. Go Superchain! All right. Thanks all. See you.
Thank you.